indigenous people as part of ILC. We all know, and I'm just highlighting here that the indigenous people comprise about 370 million around the globe. This is the official numbers. We know there are many more out there. It is usually estimated that they are among the poorest population around the globe. We know that the indigenous people have the strong spiritual, cultural, social, and economic relationship with their traditional lands. And lands stand as their core connection to the whole world. Yet often it's the most precarious part, and indigenous people are the ones who are facing most land-related issues in the world. Therefore, they stand as for a central importance for ILC mandate, and they were integrated in ILC strategy since 2013. In the recent years, there were so many violations of indigenous people land, either under the name of natural conservative areas or under the name of extracting minerals or protecting natural resources or green energy. And yet we are discovering more and more issues on this scale. In addition, of course, to the massive investment and massive production, which is ongoing in the whole globe and compromises the future of indigenous peoples and the traditions that they have. Hence, as ILC and as an organization that works together with the people and empower the people by being also their voice out there, bridging between local, national, and international practices, we highly support indigenous people organizations on different levels. I'm glad to have today Amina with us from Azul. She is our expert in this regard. She is the co-chair of our Indigenous People Caucasus, and she has been with ILC for so many years. Her experience in the field of taking indigenous people voice to the international platforms is something that we can all learn from. Her practices in this regard are magnificent, and I myself, I have been learning a lot from her and amazed by the willingness and the capacity she has as a person to express the voice of her people. Today, Amina will take us through her journey about how we can make indigenous people rights visible to everyone and what are the mechanisms to take it to the international level at the UN platforms. It is usually the fact that indigenous people feel themselves alone, abandoned, and they have the feeling that the whole world is against them, which is the case in many situations, unfortunately. But the fact that we have enshrined indigenous people in all international laws, humanitarian laws or VGGTs or treaties that were signed in the past decades, and the fact that ILC stands with every indigenous people organization, we want to highlight again that indigenous people are not alone, and Amina will show us this fact today. So thank you everyone for joining, and thank you Amina for sharing your knowledge with us. The floor is all yours. Thank you.
Hello, Shahd. Hello everybody. Thank you. I'm glad to be here with you to share with you some little ideas and some little knowledge part of what I have to share with my sisters and brothers from EMENA region and from all the Africa region, Asia, and also Lake America Latina. So unfortunately, we haven't translation to other languages, but hope that we can maybe do other presentation or webinar with other languages. So sorry, and I think that we have to spend some time together today. So before beginning the presentation, I have to make a summary about Azul. What is Azul? Azul is a network, indigenous Amazigh network from Morocco, but we have other members and friends from Algeria and Tunisia and Egypt too. So, and not all North Africa, where is the territory of Amazigh people. So it's an open space for organizations and also for defenders who are defending the Amazigh languages, culture, and identity, and also land rights, territory rights, and natural resource rights. So why the advocacy? It's our expertise, but why? Advocacy is the way to defend and to present our ideas and our opinions and to advocate and for our rights. It's very important to have an alternative solution when the national laws are not defending, are not protecting our rights to land territories and in natural resources, and also when the policies are not recognizing our indigeneity. So we have to protect ourselves, and we use the international law because it's a part of what we can do. So when you use advocacy, it's not to be against the country or the government of the states. It's a wrong idea because all the national laws are based and linked with the international laws. So when we speak about UN was created by states, and all the laws at the global level are impacting the national level, and via recommendation and treaties and convention. So it's the way to see we are, this is part of sovereignty of states to create this space, this global space, but we can use it to us people and as indigenous people and civil society too. So it's not opposite to do law at the national level. It's the complement of what happened. So it's not, don't worry, it's not to be against. So you have to understand it before using it, and to avoid to be criminalized or to be showed the last like an opposite. We are not opposite. We are just using something that state created and that we can create too. So today we are speaking about advocacy, about opportunities, and also about challenges, because we have a lot of challenges, not only for indigenous people, for all people. So this webinar is for all people, for our friends from EMENA region and other regions who are not indigenous, but they can use also those mechanisms, because there is two levels. There is how to say, there is the level of human rights, and there is another level of indigenous people rights, but the two are linked because we can't separate the two. So we can begin maybe our presentation, dear Shah. So the challenges and the opportunity. What about the challenges? A lot of challenges, beginning by land rights, territories, because for us, we need land. As ILC members, or our challenges are based on land rights. And for us, indigenous people, land is linked with territories and natural resources. And when we are impacted by everything, it is because we have no right to our land. So if you have your land, you can use your livelihood, you can attend the security, food security, food sovereignty, and you can protect your biodiversity and ecosystem. But you can keep also your knowledge and you can speak your language. But when you lost your land, you lost everything with this land and all your knowledge and your rights to how to say, to be independent economically and to have a good situations socially. You lost it when you have no right to land rights. So the opportunities are to create. So the right must be taken and not ask people to give you, because this situation of no access to land, it's part of the historical problem of colonization. So we have to change, and by changing, we have to change the position, we have to change the mind, and we have to change the culture, and we have to cut with bad practices like colonialist vision of the world and to work more in more perennity vision. So this is our goal, and this is it must be, and it can be taken by the advocacy at global level. Next one, please. So first step is to know what is the United Nations. United Nations is an intergovernmental organization, like I see before, and it was created in 1945, but by some organization. So it was created by a group of states, and it was created. It have two headquarters and two parts. First one is in New York, and the second one is in Geneva. So it was created by 51 states, and it replaced the League of Nations, who was the global intergovernmental organization. So till now, we have 193 members from 2011 to now. It's the number. So all those people are in their rights, and we are people of those states, and we are part of this system. It's our system also. Why I see we are this is our system also, because when if we want to give a definition of state, it's three elements. It's government, it's a territory, and it's a population. And we are part of the population, so we can use this system. So the main UN bodies are 6. There is a General Assembly. It's in New York. The Security Council, Economic and Social Council, Administrative Council and International Court of Justice and the Secretariat. This is the 6 bodies who, how to say, compose UN. But all those bodies are creating subsidiary bodies to and mechanisms to do their work and to attain their objective and goals. Next, please. So the most important 2 bodies is what we see, and the Human Rights Council. It's not a body, but it's depending directly from General Assembly. And so, what is the Rights Council? Next, please. It's an intergovernmental body. So it was created in 26, and it working in all human rights issues. This is very important, and we will see in the next the following slides and presentation why it's important to protect those human rights. So don't forget that UN was created in 1945, but look, this is a new body, and it's a little bit critical to know that human rights issues haven't before a specific body. So the council headquarters is in Palais des Nations in Geneva, in Switzerland. Its secretariat is provided by the UNHCR. It's the United Human Council, Human Rights. Also, sorry. So, and since 10 January of this year, the president is a Moroccan one, and his name is Omar Znebar. So we'll see how it begin. Explain a little bit how it works to choose a president, or how every year there is 45 members composing the Human Council. So it's important to know that they choose from who is actually, how to say, members.
Amina, may I please, because you are moving a lot, we are not hearing you very well.
Oh, okay, thank you. Now it's good?
It is good, yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So next one, please. So the Human Council have 3 ordinary sessions, but we can it have a lot of extraordinary sessions. For example, when there is something going wrong around the world, like between between Russia and their neighbors, Ukraine, yes, and also when something happened in Palestine, and what we see there, making extraordinary session. But for the ordinary session, there is 3 ordinary sessions. They are in February, from February to March, between February to March, from June, between July and June, and October and September. It's the last one. It's very important one. So in the total, we have 10 weeks. And during those 3 ordinary sessions, we can see that there is something that happened and decided that we can see with UPR, for example, and how to choose, and also the report. For example, the last one session, between September and October, it's very important, but because for indigenous people, all the other mechanisms like EMRIP and the special rapporteur are presenting the summary report for the Human Rights Council. Next one, please. So another body, very important body, is the ECOSOC. So the ECOSOC is important. Why? Because it's concerning indirectly ILC. Next one, please. So it's one of the six in principal bodies of the UN, and it was created at the beginning of UN with the chart based on charts of the United Nations. So the mandate of the ECOSOC to promote international cooperation in economic, social, and cultural meeting, and this is the component of the acronym of ECOSOC, to promote higher standard of living, full employment, and the condition for economic and social progress and development, to find solution to economic, social, and for health, and for all those things that we can found, for example, in the UN Permanent Forum, to answer universal respect of the human rights and fundamental freedom without distinction as to race, sex, language, and religions, and all those how to say, those standards and those thematics and topics are very important for indigenous people too, not only for human rights, but for indigenous people. And they are conditioning all the things that we are facing today. For example, climate change, the SDGs, all the SDGs are here in these mandates. Separately, they are here in this mandate. So all the topics at the global level are linked with these mandates. Second. So ECOSOC is very important for us. So, and I can see that ILC is in the middle of advocacy. We are the symbol of our advocacy. Why? Because ILC have been created in 1995 by FAO, World Bank, IFAD, and they are the permanent members of the Council of ILC. And it's very important to know that we are not out of advocacy. We are in the middle of advocacy, ILC member. So the FAO, World Bank, and IFAD are some very important. With others, there is a lot of organizations that you know, ILO and others are here, the FME and others, a lot. But I focused just on those three because they are the founder of ILC coalition. Next one, please. So another very important part of the UN is the treaty bodies. So the treaty bodies are 10. We have their nature is and characters. They are they do not emanate from the chart. This is clear. They don't emanate from the chart of United Nations, but they have been created by the General Assembly. They are established by specific treaties. We have a lot of treaties, as Shahd said at the beginning, and all those treaties have to be examined and supervised by someone. So this is the role, the goal of the treaty bodies. The treaty bodies are a commission of independent experts. So experts on what? Experts on some skills and some topics like women, like racism, like children, like other topics. So next, please. So as I say, you know some acronym of those. There are 10 treaty bodies. We have the CERT, Committee on Discrimination. It was created, its chronological position. So you can see it began from 1969 with the third. Then we have the Committee on Social Culture and Rights. We have the CCPR, Committee of International Government on Civil and Political Rights. This is a little bit the historical position of human rights. And we have the CEDAW. There is a little mistake. So CEDAW is C-E-D-A and W. It was created in 90. It's about women. We have the CAT and we have the SED, we have the CRP. Every one of those treaty bodies is very important in one topic. It's specific and it's, but for example, if we speak about the first one and the oldest one, we can use it all together. Because if you say I was discriminated based on my race, based on my language, based on something, you can use it. But there is something very important. If you want to use the treaty bodies, you have to look if your country have ratified the convention and adopted the protocol. So why? Some countries ratified the body, but don't adopt the protocol. So we recognize, but we are not obliged to respect. But if the country to show that he's a good country and he listened to recommendation, for example, for UPR, the government can, or the state can adopt the protocol. So if they adopt the protocol, you can use it. You can use it and you can make a legal action against your country to see you accept the recommendation, you adopt, you ratify, you have to respect. You know, it's very important. Next one, please. So the treaty bodies can take in account or receive complaints and individual communication about all the topics we say in the 10 treaty bodies. So they have been, they can be examined, and you can, for example, if your country have ratified and also adopted the protocol, you can make an action, a legal action. And the decision of the treaty bodies are binding. So the states are obliged to respect their, why? Because you can ask, how can the UN oblige countries to respect their engagement? In all the bodies and or organizations under UN, they are the FME, they are the World Bank that we see. And if you are not a good student for UN, we can say we will not give you money for gender justice, for women. We give you money, but you don't respect women rights. We give you money to fight against racism, but you did not your job. So stop funding something that you haven't respect. So this is why the countries are concerned by UN laws, and this is why the UPR is very important. It's to say you are good, we will give you something. If you are not enough good, you have to do, and we will say if we can give you something Then, next one, please. So we arrived to the second part, but before, if you have some question in French, even in French, in Arabic, and excuse my English, I can answer to your question.
Thank you, Amina. Thank you for the first part. I'm just gonna go with the first question that I have, and which is basically about the treaties and the laws that the global South countries basically has ratified, however, did not adopt. In this regard, we have seen that in the recent year, especially in the global South, there has been so many violations, and the governments are not held accountable for that, and there was no visible reactions from the UN bodies in this regard. How would you classify that in a UPR record, or would you classify that as lack of visibility, or how can we take that also into consideration in such scenarios? Thank you.
Yes. It's important to know that if you don't know, in advocacy, this is a regular, how to say, this is a basic. You can't use something without knowing how to use this thing to have, because the goal is to have best goals and to have a solution, not just to make something, to make noise. No, it's not to make noise, it's to have something. This is the basic of the advocacy. So in many countries, for example, in this global South, and not only in the global South, all around the world, people are not speaking enough about their and presenting their issues. If you have always to begin before the advocacy, you have to know about your local context, national context, regional context, and then you can pass to the global context. It's very important, because if you don't know enough your problems and issues, you have no idea about your national laws, what you can do and what you cannot do, what is your right and what is denied, which right is denied. You cannot use the global level. So I think that lack of information, people are not enough informed about their context, national context, and what, because if you know what you need, you can ask it, and you can give something very important in advocacy. It's not just to speak about issues, it's to present recommendation. And what are the recommendations? It's a recommendation, it's a practical solution that you recommend and you ask for. It's very important. So I think that civil society have to be more implicated and to make sensibilization, mobilization around all this part of how to ask for our rights. So, for example, in Africa, there is no state who recognizes that we are indigenous, or the indigeneity in Africa. Someone say all Africans are indigenous. No, not all Africans are indigenous. And some other countries say there is no indigenous people enough. So it's like this. And don't forget that countries are very, how to say, expert in what are the issues and how to avoid to give rights to people. For example, If a country wants to create a natural reserve, it can say it's for biodiversity protection, it's for just transition protection, it's for this, but just look behind, because the communities are more informed, but they have to know how to protect their rights. It's very important.
Thank you. Our guests, if you have any questions, please feel free. I don't see any hands, so please, Amina, if you can continue with the second part. Thank you.
Okay, we can move to a very important part of this webinar, is the UPR. And as I see, this is concerning everybody. If you are indigenous or not indigenous, UPR is a very important mechanism to use. And as in the members of ILC, all your organization can be part of, participate to the UPR. This is your right. For example, can you go to not to the next one? Can you move, please, chat, the other one? Move. Next. Next. This one. Okay. Before jumping to the in the other side. For example, in EMENA region, this year it's the fourth cycle of Human Rights Council, and Albania is in the UPR. It must be examined in November. And who will examine Albania? There is a troika that you can see in the second photo. The troika who will examine Albania will be Ghana, Japan, and Bulgaria. So this is the three countries who will take the examination of Albania this year. But wait, this session will be the 17th session between 4 and 15 November. But the civil society or the report from how to say stakeholders and social civil society must be sent 6 months before. So is Albania or Albanian members know that their country is examined this year? I don't know. Maybe we can. In Africa, we have a republic, La République du Congo, okay, la CRD, okay. So we must check always if our country is going to be examined. For Morocco, it was in November 2022. So what we sent the report before, 6 months before. So we can go back, please. Okay. So the terms and procedure. Every country have to be examined after 4.5 years. It's a cycle. So, and the 3 per country and 3 annual session. Remember the 3 annual, that there is always 3 annual session. So they are not coincident with the at the same time with the ordinary session, but it's around the ordinary session. So in between January and February, it's just before the ordinary session, the first one, and then it's the same schema. So we have 60 countries per session, and if you make the total, it will be 48 countries for a year. The order of examination respects the principle of universality and equal treatment. So we can say this year we decide to examine, for example, Russia. It's not, if Russia is not in the list, you can move their examination to another session. No, it's static and cyclic. All member countries of the council are examined during their membership, because in the council there is always 45 countries, and those 45 countries have to be examined during their membership in the council. The original members of the council will be examined first, and then we pass to, for example, there is 45, and then we can move to 48. The selection of countries to be reviewed must be based on the principle of equal equitability, geographical distribution. So we can say that we are going just to examine African countries or European one. No, it must be a balance between the 5 regions. We are speaking about 5 regions, but when we speak about socio-cultural region, it's 7. It's more important. Next one, please. So the 3 case documents of UPR. So there is, the first one is a report of 20 pages. It's the national one. This is the page that the countries say, we respected all the recommendation. We are good student of UN, and we did all what you asked us to do before. So in the previous examination, and this is the situation now in our country. The second report is established by the Office of United Nations High Commissioner. It's gathered and making a summary of the information gathered by the UN on this country. Don't forget that in your country there is always UN representative, like what we see before, FAO, IFAD, and UNESCO, a lot of organizations representing UN are in your country. So they gathered information, and sometimes UN is nominated, some having gathered information from some how to say, embassies based in your country. If there is something wrong or something, some event, bad event, or sometimes embassies make their report to UN as observer, you know. So the third one, the third document of 10-page report from the Office of the High Commissioner on the position of NGOs, stakeholders. So we, in these 3 reports, we are situated in the third one. So we can send our report to the OHCR, and then the OHCR is making a summary of all the reports they received 6 months before, and they give it to the Human Rights Council to say, and to, it's, how to say, a contradiction narratives, to see that, yes, countries say everything is good, but UN say, no, there is something wrong. And civil societies and NGOs are saying, no, it's bad. It's not the truth. So this is the le narrative contradictoire, how to say, narrative contradiction, to say that where is the truth? Who is lying? It's not to say, yes, it's okay, because it's US, it's everything, it's okay. Because it's UK, everything is okay. No, we have to, how to say, to compare the content of the three reports. Next one, please. So there is some criteria to respect if you want to send a report for the participate with a report for the UPR of your country. So it must be a written report, not like, for example, if you participate to UN ENDRIP, UN Permanent Forum of EMRIP, you can use verbal declaration, but here you have to put or to give or write a report. It must be identifiable and not anonymous. So you, for example, Azul is sending a message for a report, we must put in the name of who is taking in charge of this report. And we must use, how to say, organization with statute. So Azul, for example, cannot stand in the same of Azul. It's like the coalition, the ILC, but we can stand with the support of our association and with legal statutes like ASHAL, for example, like AFDA. This is some like ISAPAN. This is some of organization having legal statutes, but you must give the name, who you are, the link of your organization, the email of your organization, what are you doing, and so it must be a target and analytical report, not just to say there is issues. No, you have to be clear on the issues and to be analytical. Why? Because the words are limited. For example, individual report for one organization is just 28 and 50 words. It's not a lot. It's a small number. It's limited. If you choose a joint report, you can have more words. It's 50 and 30 words. So it's important to be to target and to be more practical in your report, how you write it, and to focus on very important topics that you are facing, and also you must put recommendation. Okay. Why? It's the solution, as I see. You are the expert. You know what is your issue, and you can be able to give a good solution. But because some good solutions are not good when they are coming from outside, but we have to give our own solution in the linked with our context. And this recommendation, you can how to say, speak about the oldest, the recommendation that have been made to your country in the previous report and that the country didn't respect till now. You can see, yes, my country say to do this, have to do this, but they didn't. Now they have to do because this, and this is what we proposed, not just to this. So other thing, it must be referenced. So the reference is if you can put link of articles of something that happened, not just to say it happened and enough. No, it's not enough. You have to prove. It's like evidence in legal cases. So you have to give some evidence. And those references are not included in the contability of the work. This is the good thing. And there is something as the report must be in Word format and the annex can be in PDF. What contain the annexes? The annexes contain all the information about about the organization, and also all the, you can put a previous report that you send, you can put communication that you did for special rapporteur, you can provide some other material that you use it and to prove what you are saying. And also last one, we have to respect the deadline. So we have to send on time. It means 6 months in advance. So it will always 6 months in advance. If your country is passing in January, you will send 6 months before. If you are going, your country is will be examined in November, you have to send in around March. So it's like this. To give time to you or share to make the summary of the reports. So what is the Troika? As I say, for Albania, is the 3 countries who will be chosen to make a draft and to examine your country and to make a draft that they will present it to the council, and then the report is adopted at a plenary session of the Human Rights Council in Geneva. The NGOs may attend the review, but may not speak until the final recommendation have been adopted. So they can intervene before, during the examination by the Troika. There's sometimes the Troika is always making some meeting and asking people who want to be observer and to be part of the examination, but they have no right to intervene directly till the recommendations are made by in the plenary session, and they have 10 minutes allocated to 10 only. It's a limited number to 10 NGOs. Next, please. So we see this, and Albania, Albora, and friends from Albania, just keep in mind that your country is will be examined in November, and everybody can participate. If you have a land right issue, send a report. You can participate. It's very important. If you don't highlight your issues, who can do it for you? It's joining your last questions, Shahd. You have to speak, and person who keep quiet will not be heard. This is what we say in Arabic. We say, if you don't speak, God cannot hear you. So please write, because it's a written report to be heard by UN and UPR system. Next one. So we finished the second part, and if you have question, I'm here.
Yeah, I think I will go again with the first question. You mentioned that the organization shouldn't be anonymous and well recognized. Does that mean to be legally registered in the country they are operating it, or internationally recognized by other organizations? Because in some contexts, the organizations are not registered in the country itself due to some political restrictions. And in some cases, you have organizations that are well known on the international platform who can report on the issue and approach international organizations, but they don't have this legal characteristics, I would say.
It's just to give a credit to the report and who is speaking. So if someone, we don't know who is this person, because we have the country can can reply to something, to a report, to say no, it's those allegations are false, where they are coming from. It's just to be clear on who is saying what. For example, for Azul, we are a space, we are a network, but we have a lot of organization with legal statutes. We can use it, but for example, if you ask me if there is no organization with legal statutes, what can we do? So, for example, there's a lot of NGOs like Emerge, minority rights group, have made reports for the UPR, Moroccan UPR. So, and when those kind of EGIA, for example, are working also on reports for countries and for communities of and people. So you can ask organization or sometimes they can come to ask you, what are your priorities on what can we make our report? But they are recognized. For example, in our report, we were 10 organizations, cooperatives, and platforms to send a joint report, and it was strategic because we will with join report, we have more words and we can speak more about the issue. And also Energy, for example, asked us, contact me to say, we want to do a report for you, Moroccan UPR, and we want to have your view on what are the urgent issues. So it was practically the same. We focused our report on language, on recognizing of officialization of Amharic language, and also on land rights and territory and natural resources. It's strategic. And then, for example, with the help with Energy, we have some communication and some webinars with some countries that who were interested by Morocco, and with the Troika, who examined Morocco, to give us the floor and to speak about, to give more information. This is why they try to have this criteria. It's just to see, we are not lying, we have nothing, but in some other for example, for other reports, you can be protected as a defender to not give all the things. But for the UPR, it's very cadred and with criteria.
Thank you, Amina. I'm not sure if there are any questions, but yeah, the floor is all yours to continue.
So the third part is about indigenous, essentially about indigenous people and indigenous mechanisms that we can use as indigenous people. Next one, please. So the first instrument and mechanism for the, we speak about instrument and mechanism of the right of indigenous people. We have two texts. The first text is Andrew. It's the UN Declaration in Indigenous People Rights. And this declaration have been adopted in 2007. And their main principes are self-determination and free, prior, and informed consent. So there is a lot of articles explaining all who is indigenous, what are the indigenous people rights, speaking about right to land territories and natural resources and all health determination and a lot of things that around what are the indigenous people rights. The second, but it's in time chronologically, it's not the second, but it's the first one text. It's the ILO Convention 169 ILO Convention. This is the difference between the declaration. The declaration is not binding, but the ILO is binding. And it was adopted in 1989 and it entered in force in 1991. But look, the number of states who ratified, who signed the ILO Convention are very limited, very, very limited. Why? Because they know that it's binding. It's not just adopted, but it's binding and it must be signed. So there is another text that I didn't put here, but it's the convention, the resolution 39 of CEDAW on indigenous women and girls. It's very important text and it was adopted 2 years ago, and it's very important to approve and to enhance these those texts for indigenous people rights. So the first mechanism, it was the text, but now we're speaking about a mechanism. The first one is the EMENA expert mechanism on the rights of indigenous people. So this one is a subsidiary body of the Human Rights Council. So it depended directly from Human Rights Council. So it was established in 2007 by the resolution 635. It was amended in September 2016 by the resolution 3325. So this EMENA is composed by 7 independent experts. They must be independent and not to depend from someone to push them to take some decision. No, they must be independent and to give all what they have to give only to the Human Rights Council. They are representing the 7 sociocultural regions, and there is a balanced representation of men and women. It's always like this, with respecting the gender approach. So there is a meeting, annual meeting in July, just after the second ordinary session of the Human Rights Council, who take place between June and July. So EMENA is coming just the 1 week after the closing of Human Rights Council. So the objective of the EMENA is to ensure compliance with the UNDRIP, to support the principles of self-determination and the prior informed consent, to examine obstacles encountered, to advise states if they need support for this, and some, not all the states, but some of them ask for help, to prepare and draft report for the UN Human Rights Council, and to send it in for the 3rd ordinary session. So the second mechanism, next please, It's United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issue. It's based on New York. So, you know, at the beginning, we speak about two headquarters. The Assembly, General Assembly is in New York, and the Human Rights Council is in Geneva. So there is no, how to say, confusion between the two. There is two independent mechanisms. Everyone is working in its area and dependent from the other. It's to enhance the base of indigenous people rights, but with having two poles in parallel, and to reinforce each other, not to go against each other, but to reinforce each other. So the Permanent Forum is advisory body of ECOSOC, created in 2000. The forum it's different in the composition. It was just 7-person expert for the EMERIT. Here we have 16 members. Why? Including 8 indigenous experts elected by the NGOs and 8 nominated by states. Why 8? We have only 7 socio-cultural region. 8 because every time, every mandate, it's a double representative from. For example, if we have 1117, we can add the 81 from Africa, for example. But if we add the 81 from Africa for indigenous experts elected by NGOs, we cannot add the 81 from the same region. It must be from another region. For Asia, for example, from the Pacific, we can, but this time it will be presented by the state. So as for the EMERIT, the balanced representation of men and women is respected. There is an annual session in April, between April, end of April and beginning of May. And the mandate for the UN Permanent Forum is to deal with the 6 areas of expertise on indigenous issues. This is something that you can always find during the EMERIT. It takes place for 2 weeks, but for EMERIT it's just 1 week. But for the Permanent Forum, it's 2 weeks. And during these 2 weeks, in the agenda, there is always speaking. This is the recurrent topic, the 6 area of expertise on indigenous issues. And we can add other topics, for example, for youth, for women, for extractive activity, health, but the 6 are the same, how to say, basic area or basic goals of ECOSOC: economic and social development, culture, environment, education, health, and human rights. The same. It's the reflect of what happened and the goals, the mandate of ECOSOC. So the Permanent Forum prepared a report and study on indigenous people rights. For example, in 2023 and 2024, there was 2 studies that we participated to on. The first one was in holistic health, and the second one was implementation of determinant health of indigenous people. Next one, please, Shah. So the third mechanism for indigenous people is the special rapporteur on the rights of indigenous people. But before speaking about the special rapporteur on the rights of indigenous people, I can see that there are a lot of special rapporteurs on a lot of issues. You can imagine you have special rapporteur on refugees, and you have special rapporteurs on people displacement into in the country. So there is difference. Refugees are coming from other countries, but even for people who have been displaced in their country, there is also a special rapporteur. You have special rapporteur on water. You have special rapporteur on governance. You have special rapporteur on women. You have special rapporteur on defenders. A lot. All the thematics linked with human rights are represented by a mandate of the special rapporteur. And the mandate of special rapporteur is part of what we call special procedures. Special procedures are something very important in UN system. It's to provide solutions and to help for creation of convention and resolution. So it's very important to focus on these special procedures, and that everyone is working in its area. So, for example, for indigenous people, we are not using only the special rapporteur on the rights of indigenous people. As indigenous people, we are people, and we can use all the special rapporteurs that we have in UN. We can send to all of them on everything, on racism. It was, for example, we did a report to special rapporteur on racism and xenophobia in 2018. She was here in visit in Morocco, official visit in Morocco, and we present a report to her and meet her to talk about racism against indigenous people, against Amazigh people, and it was taken in account in her report, which she presented to Human Rights Council in 2018. So, what is this special rapporteur? It was created, adopted by Human Rights Commission in 2001. It was renewed in 2004 and by the Human Rights Council in 2007. So it was extended by the resolution 5116 until 2022. The special rapporteur mandate is part of the special procedure, as I said before, and submit 2 annual reports. One to Human Rights Council in September, the third session of the Human Rights Council, and the second one is presented to the General Assembly in October, so after the first one. So the special rapporteur have to make some thematic studies on based on human indigenous rights, and the special rapporteur make 2 official, because you must know that in UN there is not a lot of money, and there is an issue or restriction, economic restriction. Sorry, so they can't go everywhere, and they have to make only 2 official trips per year and receive communication. But if you want to invite the special rapporteur, all the special rapporteurs, you can invite them in your country, and it's part of what we say the academic visit. It will not be official trip, but academic. But you can invite him. Just you have to find money to bring him to your country. But there is something that you don't know, you need money. It's to send communication, and the communication are very, very small. Just target to say who you are, where are you from, which community facing which problem, with who, what are the stakeholders of this problematic, and did you make some action or not action? It was a solution or not solution? So the communication, you can just go on Google and click on special rapporteurs for the one that you want to use and to ask, and you will find all the documents even by emailing, or it's how to say, by website you can send a communication. So it's very easy, it's not very complicated, but we have to do it. We have to do it. It's not complicated. Sometimes we have this idea that all is complicated. No, there is no complication. And sometimes people who are sending reports are sending report with hundreds of pages. It's not possible because in UN there are economic restrictions and limited staff. So you have to be very, very clear, very targeted in your work and in your communication. So the letter or the report that you will send to the special rapporteur, the name of this report is communication. So when we say communication, it's just the report that we can say to the treaties or to special rapporteur. So the current special rapporteur on indigenous rights is Mr. Francisco Cali. He is from America Latina, and he is doing a very good job. So I think that I have finished.
Thank you, Amina. Thank you very much for the enriching presentation that you have, and I leave the floor open for any questions from our guests. I don't have questions to this part. You have elaborated on that very clearly. So the floor is open if anyone wants to put a question in there or in the chat.
I can add something, please, around indigenous people, because we are actually in a process of enhancing participation of indigenous people on all the questions around their rights. So after the last EMRIP in Geneva, we had our first intersessional meeting about enhancing. And for the first time, we have been in the Human Rights Council as indigenous people without ECOSOC observers, because to participate and to speak in behalf of Human Rights Council, you have to be observer and to have statute of ECOSOC. But it was the first time that we want to the Human Rights Council in Geneva, and we take place and we speak as indigenous people. It was the first session, and in October there will be the second one, and in parallel there is discussion with the General Assembly under the Permanent Forum. So for Geneva, it was under Human Rights Council with the Commission, and in New York, it's the same process. But like I see before, it's to gather all and to try to find solution, not to go everyone in his place. So it's very important to participate to this enhance this process of participation, because we have to make voices of indigenous people more heard and to give more solutions. So if this is the process in action now, and maybe in next year, we will find indigenous people taking part of negotiation and taking part and speaking in their name, because we have, as we say, nothing for us without us. If there is something concerning indigenous people, they have to be part of the process. So the second thing I can add, it's about participation of as ILC. This is in 2022 in Amman, in Jordan, was created our caucus indigenous platform of ILC, and it's very important that this platform take place, and we participated for the second time this year to the UN Permanent Forum. Maybe we not maybe, for sure, we participate to the Permanent Forum as a platform of ILC, because it depending from World Bank, FAO, and IFAD, and because those organizations are part of ECOSOC. But maybe next time we will participate to EMERIT as a platform of indigenous people. And thank you to ILC to give me this opportunity to participate as a member of EMENA region. So I'm here if you need something, and I'm at your disposition for any question of clarification.
Thank you, and sorry, my daughter just returned home. Thank you, Amina, very much. And I don't see any hands raised. Thank you for the very extensive explanation of how it works. This is take us to the next level in the future of being more active in this space on the international level, and learn from your experience in this regard. This is, of course, not limited to the EMENA region, but it's also something of a great value to other regions and the indigenous people around the globe. So, Amina, thank you again for your time, for your knowledge, and you are not only member of ILC, but you are also contributing greatly to the knowledge that ILC is trying to build between the members. Thank you again very much, and thank you for our guests, and I wish you a pleasant evening. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Shad, and thank you to our guests. And if there is a possibility to make it in French, or to have another session with more with interpretation, because I see in the guest there is Clara Merino from America Latina. There is Mohammed Aguerato Tal. I don't know, maybe Aguerato is from America Latina too. Finet is from Africa, and Itri, Amina, and the other from Morocco. But I hope if there is other languages to provide, maybe we can make another webinar with more people. It will be good, and you are welcome. Or we are always here. I'm always here, and we are Azul is a member, and we are proud to be part of ILC and of EMENA region.